Len?
Could I just ask if you could tell you who you are, because I don't know.
Hi, Andrew Vitale from GHD. Just wondering, is there going to be any effort put into revising the design and storm temporal patterns?
Yeah. The whole of AR is being revised. There's 21 projects which are currently being undertaken, which have identified the biggest gaps in knowledge in the current AR&R. IFD is obviously project one, but there's also one on temporal patterns, so they are being rederived.
Will it be the similar average variability method or something different?
It won't. Yeah, no. Look, obviously the average variability method is a contender, but there are a lot of problems with the AVM. It's also, particularly as we're moving towards more Monte Carlo type approaches, we're looking at a suite of temporal patterns. But having said that, it's also recognised that there are a lot of instances where a single temporal pattern is going to be required. The temporal pattern project it's only recently got off the ground, but they are looking at a range of different temporal patterns and looking at a suite of temporal patterns rather than just a single design temporal pattern.
Any other questions?
Hi, Janice. Greg Rose, WRM. You spoke just at the end there about you're not looking at the CRC Forge stuff again. But you did say that you were still a year away from getting the full database out for this project. I'm just wondering whether the people who developed the CRC Forge stuff have gone to the same level of detail in getting their raw data set the same, and what's the level of accuracy of the current CRC Forge stuff as a result? Yeah,
it's interesting with the CRC Forge data sets. Lionel Siroadina, who is involved in doing, and we're talking just the daily and longer for CRC Forge, he was involved in developing the quality, the infilling disag for CRC Forge and more specifically area reduction factor. He's actually on our team and has been doing that. So from a point of view of daily read data, it's actually going to be fairly consistent because we're using fairly similar approaches. Sub-daily for CRC Forge, those were extrapolations, so they weren't done for sub-daily data. So obviously there's not a database with which to compare. And it's 6 months, Greg, not 12 months. Yeah, and counting, yes.
Another question?
It's Marion from Golder Associates. I was just wondering if there was any change in the methodology for estimation of PMP?
That's okay. The short answer is no. The PMPs are an order of magnitude different to the IFDs. The longer answer is embedded in the PMP method is the use of IFD estimates. So what we will be doing is when we produce the revised IFD estimates, is going back and checking whether there's been significant impacts because of any change in the IFDs on the PMPs, but without wanting to, preempt an answer, the PMP method, because of the maximisation procedures which are embedded in that, is fairly robust. So, you'll find this when, there's a very big storm and people come back and say, has the PMP changed? It never has, because it's a very robust approach.
Any other questions?
I've got a statement, just a quick one. It might sound strange, but I think the big hard copy maps are a welcome change to staring at a computer all day. All of us are so consumed with technology. I like getting the big old maps out and having a look and having a flick. And
You just got to find them because they're all in different pieces.
Yeah, that's right. You just go searching from people's desks.
I don't mean to be disparaging about the maps, because as you say, they do give you a very good idea across a particular region of how the IFD ISO it's a variant. All I can say is find yourself an A0 printer, you can print them out.
Last question.
I think there was one there from someone who hasn't. So, yep.
I'm just wondering if you had any sort of advanced results in terms of what probability distributions are best for the rainfall frequency analysis. And I would imagine it would vary depending on where you are in Australia too.
Yep. I'm very conscious I'm being videoed. No. Look, what we found with the annual maximum series is that the GEV is consistently fitting better. However, something that is interesting is that it's not outstandingly better than the other distributions. Now, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, CRC Forge has found that GEV for the annual maximum series was fitting best across most of Australia, and we found this because we've trialled it across the whole of Australia, that's fairly consistent. GEV, but by a nose, not by a horse's length. For partial duration series, it's pretty much GPA.
Okay, I might take that last question over here.
Rick Dennis from Cardno. This massive database you put together for the rainfall stations, is there any chance of including, say, gauge information?
Oh yes, it definitely will. Or, I mean, my love is rainfall data. But no, ORIS will include its water resources information. So it will include streamflow data, it will include gauge data, it includes rating tables. I mean, what's online now in terms of phase 1A, which is the reservoir data, are the reservoir levels. Phase 1B will allow you to get the levels, the capacity tables. Any kind of water resources information will be publicly available.